Have you ever wondered about the hidden power of the human mind? Welcome, dear listener, to a journey that will take us deep into the caverns of human consciousness. Today we lift the veil on a concept known as dark psychology, a realm where mental prowess is the key to control, manipulation, and power over others. But tread carefully, for this is a path that is as intriguing as it is dangerous. Dark psychology utilizes psychological tactics that influence thoughts, behaviors, and actions. It can sway a person's will in directions they may not have tread otherwise. However, let's be crystal clear, this video is purely for informational purposes. We do not endorse or encourage the use of dark psychology for harm or malevolence. It's a fascinating world, the human mind, a labyrinth of thoughts, emotions, and untapped potential. Are you ready to venture into the shadows of the mind? To master dark psychology, one must first understand the human psyche. It's a complex labyrinth, a network of emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, all interconnected and influencing one another. The human mind, you see, is like a puzzle with infinite pieces, each piece representing a different aspect of our personality, our desires, our fears, and our dreams. Psychology, in its simplest form, is the scientific study of the mind and behavior, but it's more than just a discipline. It's a key that unlocks the door to understanding why we behave the way we do. It allows us to predict and potentially influence the actions of others. Now let's delve a little deeper. Imagine emotions as the primary colors on an artist's palette. Each emotion, whether it's happiness, sadness, fear, or anger, can be mixed and blended to create a myriad of human responses. Understanding how these emotions interact and influence behavior is a critical part of mastering the art of psychological influence. Thoughts, on the other hand, are the canvas upon which these colors are painted. They are the internal narratives we tell ourselves, influenced by our past experiences, our beliefs, and our perceptions of the world around us. By understanding someone's thought patterns, we can anticipate their reactions and responses. Behavior, the final piece of the puzzle, is the outward manifestation of these thoughts and emotions. It's the most visible part of the human psyche and often the easiest to influence. But remember, it's not just about changing behavior. It's about understanding why that behavior occurs in the first place. Now you might be wondering, where does empathy come into play? Empathy, my friends, is the bridge that connects us to others. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, to see the world through their eyes. Without empathy, understanding the human psyche is nearly impossible. Observation, too, is a crucial tool. It's through careful observation that we can pick up on subtle cues, changes in behavior, shifts in mood. These are the breadcrumbs that lead us to a deeper understanding of the person we're trying to influence. With understanding comes the power to influence, but remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use these tools wisely, and always with respect for the individuality and autonomy of others. Persuasion. It's more than just a conversation. It's an art, a dance of words and emotions, meticulously choreographed to guide someone towards a particular perspective. It's not about coercion, but rather about presenting your point of view in a manner that is convincing, compelling, and credible. So, how do you approach conversation strategically? It's about understanding your audience, their needs, their desires, and their fears. It's about knowing what makes them tick and using that knowledge to connect with them on a personal level. It's about being patient, being attentive, and being empathetic. It's about navigating the conversation with finesse, steering it subtly yet decisively toward your desired outcome. Next, let's talk about framing ideas effectively. The way you present your argument can make all the difference. It's about the choice of words, the tone of voice, the pace of speech. It's about painting a vivid picture, creating a compelling narrative, eliciting emotions. It's about making your audience feel that your idea is not just logical, but also beneficial, desirable, and even inevitable. And then, there's the use of emotional appeals. Humans are emotional beings. We are driven by our feelings, our passions, our fears. By tapping into these emotions, you can make your argument more persuasive. You can make your audience care about your idea, feel invested in it, and be more inclined to accept it. But remember, this is not about manipulation. It's about understanding and acknowledging the emotional aspects of decision-making. To master the art of persuasion, you need to be strategic, empathetic, and emotionally intelligent. You need to understand your audience, frame your ideas effectively, and use emotional appeals wisely. Persuasion is not about trickery or manipulation. It's about communication, connection, and mutual understanding. And always remember, persuasion can be a powerful tool when wielded responsibly. Now let's delve into the darker side: manipulation. Manipulation is a chess game of the mind where the manipulator cunningly makes their moves to control the thoughts and actions of others. Here we're going to discuss a few of the tactics commonly employed, like gaslighting, guilt-tripping, and playing the victim. Let's start with gaslighting, a psychological tactic that is as insidious as it sounds. It involves manipulating someone into questioning their own reality. The manipulator twists and reframes facts to their advantage, making the victim doubt their memory, perception, or sanity. It's like being in a maze with shifting walls. You lose your sense of direction and can't trust your own instincts. Next, we have guilt-tripping. This is when the manipulator uses guilt as a tool to make the other person do what they want. They play on the victim's emotions, making them feel bad for not complying with the manipulator's demands. It's like a puppeteer pulling at the strings of conscience, making the puppet dance to their tune. And then, we have the tactic of playing the victim. Here, the manipulator portrays themselves as the innocent party, making others feel sorry for them. They use this sympathy as a smokescreen to hide their manipulative behavior. It's like a magician's trick. While you're focused on their apparent suffering, you don't see the manipulation happening right under your nose. These tactics are rooted in a deep understanding of the human psyche. Manipulators know how to exploit our fears, insecurities, and desires. They understand our need for validation, our aversion to conflict, and our tendency to trust. By playing on these aspects, they gain control and influence over us. But remember, these tactics aren't just tools for manipulation. They can also serve as warning signs. If you notice these behaviors in your interactions, it could be a red flag indicating that you're being manipulated. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use this knowledge to protect yourself and others from manipulation, not to exploit it for personal gain. Mind games are not just for the chessboard. Think of emotions as chess pieces. Each has a role, a movement pattern, and a potential influence over the game. The king, representing someone's core beliefs and values, is the most coveted piece, while pawns, the person's fleeting emotions, are often underestimated. Creating psychological scenarios that lead people to make certain decisions or behave in certain ways is akin to playing a game of chess. It requires strategy, foresight, and an understanding of the opponent's potential moves. It's about positioning your pieces, your words and actions, in a way that subtly guides the other person towards a certain decision or behavior. It could be as simple as a well-timed compliment, a seemingly casual conversation steered towards a particular topic, or a shared experience designed to elicit a specific emotional response. But remember, the key word here is subtlety. Blatant attempts at manipulation are easily spotted and can lead to mistrust and resistance. Like in chess, patience is essential. You can't expect to checkmate your opponent in a few moves. It requires setting up the board, anticipating reactions, and adjusting your strategy as the game unfolds. You must be patient, allowing the scenario to develop naturally, waiting for the right moment to make your move. Also, be prepared for the unexpected. Just as a chess player must be ready to respond to an unforeseen move, you must be adaptable, ready to change your approach if the person doesn't respond as you predicted. Let's also not forget the importance of empathy. Understanding the emotions of others is crucial in this game. It's not about exploiting vulnerabilities, but rather understanding the emotional landscape to guide decisions and behaviors in a mutually beneficial direction. In the end, it's not about winning or losing. It's about understanding, guiding, and creating scenarios that lead to positive outcomes for everyone involved. In the game of minds, patience is the key to victory. Before we conclude, let's discuss the elephant in the room: ethics. As we journey into the depths of dark psychology, we must bear in mind the gravity of the power we're wielding. This knowledge, like any other, can be used for both good and ill. It's essential to respect the autonomy and dignity of others. Consider this. Just because you have the key to someone's psyche, it doesn't give you the right to unlock the door without permission. It's a matter of consent. Manipulating someone's emotions, thoughts, or actions without their informed consent is not just unethical, it's a violation of their rights. Moreover, using these techniques for selfish gains can lead to serious consequences. Relationships could be damaged, trust shattered, and reputations ruined. So, use this knowledge responsibly. Exercise restraint and empathy. Respect boundaries and prioritize open, honest communication. Remember, the goal is not to control, but to understand and influence responsibly.